Hello everyone! Today is book review day, as I just finished this book, My Best Friend's Exorcism, by Grady Hendrix. And he is the author of Horror Story, which I will eventually read. Now, to get to this book review, I had really no expectations, other than I expected to go through an exorcism, and the pre-exorcism stuff, like when things start getting a little shit crazy. Like, a little bit, not... I never expected anything that came out of this book, what I read from this book. But from that, this was actually an interesting, really kind of didn't want to put it down type of book. I did enjoy reading it. It kept me going, like, I sort of didn't want to put it down ever, because it just kept me going on. It wasn't like, oh my god, I need to read it, I have to read it, I cannot put it down. But it just, certain parts, like when I finished a chapter, this is considered a chapter when it does this. And whenever it did that, I, like, finished a chapter like that. I didn't really want to put it down. When I finished this, I kind of didn't want to put down, I kind of wanted to continue. It was like, I want to do a little bit more. And then when this happened, like these breaks here, I kind of didn't want to put it down either. And those type of breaks in the chapters, they weren't as bad as some other stuff I've read. Like, I think previous book I read. There was something that happened in this book that was like, wow, your editor is like kind of bad, and you're kind of bad as well. But there were two incidences where he mistyped the last name for one of our main characters of what is observed through her eyes is Abby Rivers. Her name is Abby Rivers, and we have Gretchen Lang. Now, it only happened once, the first time, where it said, like, Mrs. Lang when it should have said Mrs. Rivers or Mr. Well, like, it was one of the parents or, like, one of the girls where it said Lang instead of Rivers. And then yesterday, as I was reading it, it happened about somewhere, like, beyond, like, in the third... the last third of the book, if you're counting it in thirds. And it happened there, and it happened a bunch of times on the one page where it was actually saying Lang instead of Rivers. Like, wow. This is not even like a preview copy. This is the full print copy, like that's... And you messed up on 2 pages, and the second page, it was multiple times that happened. Wow. But yeah. I've never actually read an exorcism. I've watched some exorcisms, and those are freaky. But this wasn't as freaky. Like, it was freaky enough that, like, it's a freaking exorcism. But I guess I'm not as affected by it as I am when I watch a video of it. It's quite good, and I wouldn't mind actually watching this, having this actually turned into a movie. Because it was actually that good, and I would love to actually see it. The exorcism part where, like, like have all the salt and the vinegar and the praying and such. Because, you have the beginning part of a real exorcism, but then something happens. And like, Abby, our lovely main girl, has to do something. And it was the most interesting part, one of the most interesting parts of the exorcism. Because it was not a traditional exorcism. And you will just have to read to find out how different it is. But there was one part that I got to read yesterday. Oh, it was the greatest part. And this is dripping with sarcasm. I was reading about... Okay, so we've got the 2 main best friends. We've got Abby and Gretchen. And it's, as I told you when I was reading this part here, it is Gretchen that gets possessed by the demon. And they have 2 other friends who are Glee. Yes, literally Glee, G-L-E-E, and their other friend Margaret. After Gretchen gets fully possessed and like she changes, like very much changes, because she changed. In a normal sort of possession exorcism, sometimes there's a change where it's like she'll get really like dirty, and when people say like I'm being touched, I'm being molested, I have voices in my head. And, like, whenever I try to go to sleep, it's, like, all over me, and, like, I can't sleep. So they stay up, they don't change, and, like, sometimes when like, sometimes they can see their possessed demon, so that they can see him. And, like, they can't, she says, like, in this book, she says, I can't be naked because he will do stuff to me, and it just feels like I'm being watched by a pervert type of thing, and it just feels uncomfortable. I can't be naked. So basically, like people sometimes get really dirty and smelly and stuff like that. And then at other points is when the possession really full on, and a demon can fully possess you. You could appear like all clean and happy and normal, but your body is doing stuff, like your mind and spirit. But your body and the demon are doing stuff that are really wrong. And they're making like discord, violence, and getting people to do other stuff that they normally would never do, type thing. And where was I going with this? Oh, right. Gretchen was did something to their friend Margaret. And oh my dear lord, like, I don't want to ruin anything, but what she did to their friend Margaret was probably the most disgusting, sickening thing that I have ever read. Like, I physically was feeling sick in my gut. I feel it in my gut. I did not feel good reading that part. It was just, oh my god. Ugh. Ugh. When you read this book and you get to this chapter, beds are burning. So, like, literally, this is right here. Get to this part of the book. Ugh. I have no idea how he freaking wrote that, pardon my language, fucking chapter. Like, oh my fucking god. It just, oh my god, it made me sick. And I was like, I was like literally in the car with my boyfriend. It's like, I'm dead. I am not ready anymore. I can't. Like, ugh. It's like, oh my fucking god. That was the worst part of this entire book. I have watched Exorcism movies. Not a lot. Like, I can count on my hands how many Exorcism movies that I've watched. And just, they were kind of sick. They were gross. But this part in here, not even part of the Exorcism, was fucking gross. And, yeah. But this book ended on a really nice note. I liked it. It basically is about how strong is your friendship. It was good. So I do recommend reading this book. If you have liked watching Exorcism movies, then totally read this book. But if you have not watched any, if you don't like, I personally do not like them. And sometimes I've watched trailers for scary movies and I'm like, great, I'm going to torture myself because I am so intrigued about watching this. Apparently it's the same thing with books, because I was totally intrigued by this cover page. It is a freaking 80s yearbook. I was hooked in by this cover page. And then I read the back. I think I read the back on my library website. And just, it was kind of interesting, and it got me. So, trailers for movies, they get me hooked. And then, like, good books, apparently, like, the cover gotta interest me, and then the second thing is the back. I recommend reading this book, even if, like, you do not like horror stuff. This is very much a horror type book, and I am not too fond of those, but I read this, and I can recommend this. It's not bad. Like, the only part that was really bad was the freaking beds are burning chapter. Just, like, freaking, oh my god. Yeah, you don't have to read if you don't want to, but I recommend reading this book because it was very interesting. And I think I read this in a week. Yeah, I think I read this since I got this Monday. And yeah, I finished it today. I could have finished it yesterday, but it was like 11 o'clock at night when I was left with 2 chapters. That was this book. This was interesting. And now I'm going to put on a hold one of the books that I actually need to finish from the series I've been reading. But I will be continuing this book, Sleeping with the Enemy by Jamie Denton. And I already read all the stuff here, and I'm not this far in the book. It's okay so far. I don't know really if I'm going to keep it, but literally I am on chapter 3. So yes, I hope you liked this interesting little book review, me finishing this book. I hope you liked it. If you did, hit the like button down there to let me know you do, and leave comments down below if you read this book, and if this is the first time you're watching my videos, please hit the subscribe button down there by my picture to get more book reviews, hauls, unboxing, unbagging, vlogmas, and random vlog videos. Now I gotta go now because I got another video to make. So I will see you all in my next video. Bye everyone.